Hi guys, welcome to the Resting Stitch Face podcast. I can't believe I got that right the first time. Yay! My name is Michelle. I am super happy that you've joined me here. Happy that you're watching and happy that you're commenting, because commenting is going to lead to good things, very good things. I just decided, literally before I turned on the camera, that yarn whispers are going to be a thing. I don't know how long they're going to be a thing for, and I don't know when it's going to happen, and I don't know who it's going to happen to, obviously, but a special person is going to receive a yarn whisper if they comment on my video with the keyword, not this video, not tomorrow's video or next week's video. I really don't know which video. It's going to be as random as my random yarn dye encounters. And the reason for that is because I cannot be trusted to do a giveaway for any godforsaken reason, on time or whatever. If you receive a yarn whisper because you have used the key phrase or word or whatever, I decide in any one of my comments, whatever video it is that I decide to use, I will ask you for your contact information. I will let you know that you have received a yarn whisper, and that I will then need your email address, or you will need to most likely send me your address, so that I could send you your special yarn whisper. I had so much fun for Vlogtober. My dog's trying to get back inside, and I really don't want to let her in because she's being a brat. Alright, I'm gonna let her in. Hold on. Okay, so hooray! Yarn whispers are going to be a thing. The Resting Stitch Face podcasty, vloggy kind of thing is going to be a thing for the foreseeable future of the channel, because I like Resting Stitch Face. I like the name. It's so perfect for me. It's just the epitome of who I am and what I need, which is a better face and more rest. That is perfect. So it looks like I'm running out of time, but I'm going to have to do this quickly and then go and get the stuff off of my phone so that I can make some space so we can have time to chit chat. I think that the yarn whispers are going to be a lot of fun. I'm not sure if I'm going to make the yarn whispers always a full skein. I'm not sure if it's always going to be a skein, because I'm not rich. I don't have that kind of money that I can like start giving away all kinds of yarn all the time. So I'll probably do this maybe once a month, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a special, maybe like a keyword or a phrase, and it is going to be yarny related. I am not going to give any hints out for it. Just, if you get it, you get it. And if you don't, you don't. So if you don't and the month has gone by, then I will think of something else. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But I like the idea of doing like random yarn whispers here and there to the folks that are consistently, you know, commenting on my videos. And that is in an effort to keep up like a nice community going on my channel. I would like to keep doing that. That was really, really nice, because people don't talk to me. I don't know if am I that scary? I don't know. A lot of people are like, I didn't want to bother you. You're not bothering me. It's totally fine for you to contact me at any time of the day, actually, because I'm not saying that I'm always up. I'm not. I have a long drive to work. I have a long day at work. I work Monday through Friday. I get home around 4. sometimes 5, sometimes 3. I go to bed around 10, like on a regular basis. I try, but sometimes I'm not asleep at that time. And even if you were to be awake at 3 o'clock in the morning or something and you can't sleep, I'm asleep. Trust me, you're not going to wake me up. So feel free to send me any messages at any time of day, because honestly, it's perfectly fine. I do it all the time and it doesn't bother me, and I will just respond to you when I am awake and able to. A lot of times I'm driving, and I'm driving for very long hours, so I don't contact people for a long time sometimes, but as soon as I can, I will. And there you go. And we could chit chat about yarn, and we could chit chat about your pattern, and if you're stuck, and if there's anything that I can do to help, because sometimes, I'll be honest, sometimes I just make everything worse, so don't even ask me. But I'll happy to share whatever I've been through so that maybe it'll help you. I am drinking tea. I'm always drinking tea, but that is my, I guess I will show you guys in a minute, but that is my favorite tea, other than my husband's tea, which is always just black tea. I can't remember the name of the tea that I'm drinking right now. I swear, my brain. Okay, so I'm not going to have any kind of format. That's not going to happen. I don't think that'll ever happen. It would be nice if it did. But I think the first thing that we're going to do is talk about my swamp witch. My swamp witch, you guys. If you were hanging around with me during the Vlogtober month, you would have seen that I ended the month with my swamp witch random yarn dye encounter. So, swamp witch. We ended Vlogtober with my swamp witch and Raishan, which is the green dragon yarn. It has a name. I'll explain in a minute, but it has a name. So that's my swamp witch, and I got to knitting something really fast, and I just almost finished it. I say almost because, you know. Well, okay, so here we go. Oh God, oh my goodness, look at that. This lighting is blowing it up, but this is about the right tone, I think. Back here, that's the richness that it has, and just the difference in all the colors, the stripiness, which is something that I love. I love that. I don't know if people don't like it, but I like it. And it's all the same throughout. So I decided that I wanted to make them, I don't know what you call this, but I don't know what you call this, but that's what I did. And I didn't use a pattern, which I probably should have, because it probably would have come out better. I mean, I always end up with something going on crazy at the corner. I haven't done my thumb yet, but I'm quite happy with those decreases here. Yeah, these are the decreases. They're always going to be kind of funky on one side for me, but I got it down so that it's nice and flat on one side. The other side gets a little weird. But I think that it wouldn't do that if I just switched from the way that I was knitting two together over here to knitting two together, for actually knitting two together. So this was like slip two together and knit. This one should be knit two together, and then it'll probably go flat. But I was just slipping two together and slipping two together, and that doesn't create the same look on the same decrease appearance, aesthetic, I don't know, on either side. And I've really kind of figured it out through trial and error because I'm literally too lazy to look up another pattern. I just hate reading them, so I just kind of wing it and figure it out as I go along, and that's what I did here as well, which is also a terrible idea because number one, they're too long. Number two, I can't seem to get them to like really go down properly. I haven't blocked them yet because why? But to be honest, I mean, who cares, right? Like, who's gonna be looking at the palms of my hands? In fact, nobody is gonna be looking at them at all because usually what happens is I'm driving and my hands all get hot by the time I get to work. So gloves come off and they end up in my car thingy middle console. So the thumbs I'm going to do. I don't think I'm going to make them removable thumbs like this. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to make thumbs. I always suffer when I'm making my thumbs because I have a tendency to make the thumbs too thin and they just look weird. Plus, also, my thumb is bendy. So if you make it super tight, all up there and with my nail and everything, I mean, the thumb looks weird, like all bendy. So does the whole thing looks weird because I tend to make them too long and so the whole thing is a problem. But I'll figure it out. Anyway, love my Swamp Witch so much. This came out really nice. Now, let me talk to you about this yarn. This is one of those yarns that is like, I think it's a 4-ply. You would think that I would know because I bought it. I forget stuff, guys. Nothing stays in my mind. I suffer from Swiss cheese brain or fibromyalgia or ADD, whatever you decide to call it today. The flavor of the month. So, high twist, whatever. Highland wool, twisted yarn, whatever. It's twisted. Sorry, I got tired. Holding my arms up, I got tired. So this yarn is got that funky twist, right? And I was freaking out because I'm like, oh, that twist is so ugly. I couldn't stand it. It was driving me crazy. I was like, oh, I can feel it. You guys, I can feel everything. Like, it just, I feel it. And I'm like, I don't think this is pleasant yarn to work with. I don't know why people use it so much. And then I kept on knitting, and it is pleasant to work with. It's not unpleasant. It didn't hurt like I thought it might because I'm super sensitive. Like sometimes I feel like my fingertip, like right there, if I rub it hard enough, it's gonna burn. It feels like it burns. But no, it's okay. It's fine, and I haven't blocked it yet, so I'm hoping that it blocks out nicer. It wasn't until, like, I was basically doing all of this thinking, oh my goodness, this is going to be terrible. And I gave a bunch of this away to people. Oh my God, they're going to hate it. They're going to hate me. They're going to think I'm a freaking fraud. And then I got to this part. I got to that part and I put it on and it was amazing. I mean, it was amazing. So that means as soon as I get it blocked, I think exactly what I want to happen is going to happen and everything's going to even out, stretch out, and look beautiful and nice and straight. It's the, I don't know, that twist along the here, that twist along the strand. See that? It's it's very twisted. Very, very twisted. I'm sure I've worked with yarn like that in the past. I have a love affair with single ply. I always have. So anything that is single ply to me is like the highest form of luxury to me because it just feels so good. It feels so soft and so good. You have to understand that when you suffer from tactile issues, a single ply is like a dream come true. It's like heather. It's like down pillows. It's beautiful. I absolutely love it, and I can't get enough ever of single ply. However, I don't necessarily always like to knit with it because it's delicate. It's delicate. It's delicate. It could fall apart. It could pill more than usual. So I do like using plied yarn like this. Sorry, it's messy, but like plies, like just regular plied yarn, and it's slightly twisted and has all kinds of dog hair. Ugh, it fell. Anyway, this has been in my yarn basket just staring at me for I don't know how long. This is a random, not even a random, this is not a random die encounter, yarn die encounter. This is a random, can I figure out the name? Like, is it random yarn encounter or random yarn die encounter? Random die encounter? I have no idea. I don't know how to run anything, but this was totally a random one of a kind that just fell into the pot. I just threw a bunch of stuff together. I probably just a bunch of leftover dye, and I won't call it a mop because it's not a mop. I had a lot of dye left over from something that I did, probably the Expanse. I recognize some of these colors that I did, and I just threw it all in the pot, and it wasn't what I was gonna do, because I was really just gonna break one of my colors that I had blended together and just let it do what it's gonna do on the yarn and see what happens. But I ended up not doing that, and I just threw a bunch of leftover dye in there and got this, and it was just, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful, and I'll never be able to recreate this. This is definitely never gonna happen again. So I think what I'm gonna do, oh, you guys, anyway, so what I'm gonna make some mittens out of this one next, because I need, like, as much as I love these, they're too rough for me. I can't handle it. They're nice, and I know once I block them, they're gonna be super nice. You can tell they're gonna be durable AF. I'm gonna make some socks out of this with what I have left over. I'm just gonna make some socks. I think that'll be good. So I'm gonna do the thumbs on that, so that'll be nice. I'm gonna get the thumbs done. You guys, I have no idea what I'm doing with that. Like, I have no idea what do you even do. But I think maybe I'll try and get one of those little boop boop buttons that I could just do that too. These are going to be my mitts for the winter, and I am excited for those. But I also need more socks, obviously, because I always need more socks. So I'm going to turn this into some socks. I hope I don't have any issues with wearing them, because, again, I am sensitive when I am wearing socks. If I can feel the garter on my side and it's scratchy yarn, I'm having a panic attack. If it's scratchy yarn, there's no way. They're just basically going to be lounge on my couch socks, and do not walk on them ever, because that's gross. I don't know how you guys can walk around, or not you guys, but like how anyone can walk around with scratchy wool on your feet. Like all those, that's so tight. I cannot explain it. It's kind of the same thing with this one, only this is smaller, but it's so soft. This is by the Woolen Women. This is I'm still working on the Beetlejuice yarn. They have a knit along that's going on. If you want to join in, they're just phenomenal. The things that, the kits that they put together, the items, all the things, like I talk about them all the time. They're the sweetest people. And this again is from the Beetlejuice sock kit that I bought. And they're going to be doing a knit along in a week or so. I've got the details up on one of the highlights on my profile on Instagram. You can look up the Woolen Women, and everybody's welcome to come and join. It doesn't matter if you're doing a knit along or not. And I would recommend that you do. Bring, I'm sure it's fine. Bring your yarn. Like, bring whatever project you're working on. Show it off. Bring your West knits. I don't think personally, I would like to see some people that I know actually go, because, you know, that it's all the people that they know that go. But I would like to see some of my friends join, because you guys, I don't know, I want to try and do more events, like more things together. All the people that I got to know during Vlogtober, I would love to do something with everybody, like have a knitting circle or something. Like, I feel like it's everybody that did the Vlogtober that knows Rebecca from the Mean Girls. So maybe we should like all tell Rebecca to do like a Zoom or something so she can get us all together. I think it would be fun. So we can have our own knitting circle, you guys. I think that would be fun. And yeah. But anyway, okay, so I got off on a tangent at this point, right? Didn't I? I did. So I'm starting to knit. I'm losing my mind. Help me. Okay, so what was I talking about? Squirrel. Are my dogs inside? Yes. Check and check. Good. They've been driving me nuts the last like few days. So okay, so that was that. I talked about my swamp witch and there. Now let's talk about Raishan. Give me a moment. Let me look it up, because I can't look it up on this because we broke it. Wow, look, you can see my whole setup. Woo, you're on a box. Yeah, my husband broke this. I broke it. Like, I lost it in my couch and it's so broken. It was only 60 bucks, but still, I got it on like a 40% discount. So I'm sad, but I'm gonna need another one because I really love it. Okay, so give me a moment. Let me bone up on Raishan, the diseased deceiver, which is what this yarn reminded me of. That is a green dragon. I will get into why it's a green dragon and why it's a diseased deceiver in just one momento. Okay, so why Raishan? Raishan, because this reminded me of a green chromatic dragon because of its brightness and kind of craziness. And it's stunning. So, Raishan is a character from the Critical Role fandom. If you have seen Critical Role or followed Critical Role or seen Vox Machina on Amazon, you will know that for season 2, which is coming up in January, we will be seeing the Chroma Conclave, which is an invasion of chromatic dragons. Chromatic meaning shiny metal dragons. They're shiny like metal, but they're not actual metal. But they're shiny dragons, metallic looking dragons that come and invade Amon. It's a place, a city in the Critical Role world of Exandria. So this is the green dragon and I absolutely love it. So I am going to call it Raishan, the diseased deceiver. She plays a huge role in that show, or at least in that first campaign of Vox Machina. So I am excited to say that this yarn is going to be going to Auntie the Knitrus. That is your yarn whisper. My first yarn whisper. How cool. I already did it though. I already contacted her and let her know. But we're going to be saying goodbye to this on Monday. I'm going to wrap it up properly. But what I love about this yarn is the way And the reason why it reminded me of this particular chromatic green dragon is because of that kind of like pustulous yellow. Listen, it was just Halloween, okay? That's what that reminded me of, like this pustulous yellowish greeny tint to it, and the rest of it being like the wings of the dragon, which just got darker in certain areas and just kind of flares out. And the fact that it's fairly shiny. It's this particular yarn, the way that it twists and reflects color off of it. It has a tendency to have like this sheen that I'm unaccustomed to seeing on regular yarn. I don't feel like this has that same kind of shiny quality to it. I don't know why that is, but it refracts or reflects light somehow. I don't know why. It's hard to hold up my arms today, but this is beautiful. I loved Raishan the Diseased Deceiver. She was cursed with a disease that was killing her very slowly. She was in human form, and I think she lost or didn't have an arm or something. She had like pustules and things. She was very beautiful, but she was cursed and very sick. And she played a very, very important role as one of the chromatic dragons that was attempting to take down Vox Machina and overtake Iman with, I think, Thordak, the Cinder King. A red dragon. It's a thing, you guys. Like, I know I am being a nerd, but this is what I love. And this is the name that this got because of the colors. They just completely reminded me of that dragon. So, another random yarn encounter. Success. I loved it. So, I am also super sad that I didn't know that Andi, the Naughty Nitrus, was doing the most amazing thing, which is gathering a bunch of yarn dyers to dye a specific palette that she chose. And it's already happened. And mine would have been so good. Not the palette at all that she used. So it wouldn't have qualified. But my sister just called me. I'll call her back. Not the palette that she used at all. But when I saw all the green yarn that she had on her Instagram, I was like, hey, you forgot mine. Whatever it is that you're doing. Well, I found out that what she's doing is she's doing kind of the same thing that Countess Ablaze did when she did the Tits Out collective. That was where she released exactly the colors that she used in one particular yarn that somebody else was trying to dye under her nose. And she's like, I know who you are, and blah, blah, blah. One thing led to another, and the whole world was dyeing her yarn because she told everybody to do it. And I'm like, I am sheeple. I will do it. It was so fun. I sold in less than 15 minutes $500 worth of yarn. I was ecstatic. Is that unusual? Probably not if you're a real yarn dyer. I'm not. So that was really cool. But anyway, I didn't get to join Andi this year, but I will for sure next year if she does it again. That is so fun. It is so fun to get together with a bunch of other yarn dyers and use the same palette, and everyone is going to come up with something completely different. Everybody. And it's beautiful to watch. So if you haven't seen it yet, go to Auntie the Knitrus and check out the Naughty Nitrus. I think it's the Naughty Nitrus, the most recent one. She's showcasing every single skein, talking about every single skein, unraveling every single skein. And if you are at all like me, you will sit there like just drooling. They are all so beautiful. All so beautiful. And they all used a lavender, a Kelly green, and something else. Some like a gray, something like that. Just those three colors, and everybody just, boom, magic. Magic happened. And that is what I'm always trying to tell people. Everybody that I know, that is what I'm always trying to tell you, is your yarn is going to look like your yarn. And you're not going to get, I could give you all the, you saw all the recipes that are they recipes? No, I'm just kind of like, this is what I'm doing. And if you try and do the same thing, I guarantee you, your stuff will not come out like mine. It won't. Because we're different people and we have a different eye and a different hand. And so yes, I told you what yarn I'm using, what dye I'm using, and maybe even how many teaspoons of each I'm using, and how much water, and a splash of vinegar, and this and that, and this much water here, and this is what it looks like, and how I'm doing. I'm giving you everything that you need to like literally do the exact same thing. Will you have the exact same thing? At the end of the day, will you have this? I don't think so. No, I really doubt it. You will have your own creation. And so, is it hard to dye yarn? No. No, it's not. It's about as hard to dye yarn as it is to knit a stitch. And the reason why I say that is because it is something that you learn as you go, and you learn as you grow, and you fix things that you did wrong the first time or the second time, and you get better at it. You're not going to come out and dye a spectacular yarn. I did. It was pure luck. It was pure luck, but it showed me that, yeah, if you just do the right combo of colors, understand a little bit of color theory, because that's very helpful. Don't go into it with expectations, and allow the yarn to work its magic, plus the water and the vinegar and the dye to just work its magic, and just allow yourself to just go, whoop, wow, what the hell is this? Can you recreate it? Who knows? Maybe later. Maybe work on that. That's like your next step. Can you dye a bunch of one-of-a-kind random dyes? Yes, you can. Anybody can. Just like you can dye an egg. It's amazing and it's super fun, and I highly recommend it to anybody to try. Just for fun. Just like you tried how to spin yarn and you weren't good at that either. Because I wasn't. I was terrible at it. I was no good at it, and I bought roving, and it was just horrific. It was just awful. We're not gonna all be good at this, like the same things. We're not all gonna be good at everything. There are some people that are, and we're not all like that. It's just not gonna happen. Anyway, I'm trying to show you guys one of these things that I dyed that were, I mean, I didn't let it go. I was dyeing a yarn for Woolen Women's Mama, and this happened, and I was this close to throwing it away, because I just was so upset. Like, I dyed some Care Bear yarn, and it was beautiful, and I loved it, and I think I did it last year. I loved it so much. It was so pretty. And so I got a couple orders for the Care Bear yarn, and that was really, really nice. But when I had done it on DK weight, and people were requesting it on different weight yarn, and I was like panicking because I just wasn't sure if I could do it. Well, so I think it was Sammy, I'm not sure, but I think Sammy asked for it on sparkle base, and yeah, it was beautiful. However, here was the problem. I don't know why it feels like it's really tight right there. Yeah, that's better. Sorry. Okay, so here's what happened. Disaster of all disasters. The absolute worst thing that could ever happen to you is to make the kind of mistake that's going to completely change your entire outlook of what you're trying to create. And that usually is either hot or cold water. Either hot or cold water. It's the devil. Hot water when you are exiting your pan and you're cooled your yarn after it's had time to set, and you take it to the wash and you start rinsing it with piping hot water. And the next thing you know, all that beautiful dye just gone. That is the worst. But it's happened to me. The other is when you are starting to dye, your yarn has been sitting in the pan for, you know, a good 15-20 minutes, and you're positive that it's perfectly warm, the perfect temperature, not a bubble in sight, because those bubbles will, everything will just go everywhere with the little bubbles. If it's boiling and over boiling and you got little spurts, don't do that. You don't want bubbles, because bubbles mean agitation, mean spread, right? Spreadability. That's what bubbles do. They move things around. It's physics, right? So there I go with Woollen Women's yarn, and it's in the pot for a while now, and I'm confident because I love this yarn. I love these colors. I love the Care Bears. I thought it was going to be fantastic, and then it wasn't. It wasn't. It was cold. The water was cold. It was cold, and the yarn colors started going everywhere, and you might think that it's like fine, it looks fine, but it doesn't look fine. It looks dingy and ew and yucky. Like, oh my god, I got so upset. I got so upset. I almost cried. I got so upset. I almost cried, because I don't think that had ever happened to me before when I was dyeing for a client. I was so shooketh, like shook, so shook, like shocked that I was going into hot water, and it was not hot, it was cold. It was so cold, and immediately my dye just started all over the place. I was like, what the frick? I had laid down my colors and I hadn't noticed, and then I had walked away because it was cold. I thought it was warm, and I had walked away from it, and then when I came back to check on it just 10 minutes later, just to make sure that everything was going good, I was like shock and horror that the water was cold and my colors were going together. So I cranked up the heat as fast as I could, and it struck, and then there you go. That's what happened. I will never sell this. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wind it up and see what happens. You know, you guys, a lot of the times, and this is, no, I would not sell this. There's no way. I couldn't even get the proper saturation in certain areas, because it was just, no. And after that, I just, my mojo, even my dyeing mojo was like, oh, I couldn't even look at another, and I had to do it because they paid for it, and it was just so bad. It was so bad. Just put an even bigger delay, because I had been waiting for this yarn for so long, you know, because they had run out of the speckles, and they ordered the speckles, and I was like, why do they have to order the speckles? I ran out of speckles. It was just one thing after the next, after the next, after the next, and then I was sick. It was just a nightmare. But I got it out. I got it done. And I was happy with the yarn that I let go, but not this one. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick it up and I'm going to see if I can make some mittens out of it. I think that'll be cute. I don't think that this could be anything else. Maybe some mittens, maybe a suckies. I don't know. That's what I'm going to do with that. I feel like I'm talking too long, you guys, but I don't really have anything else. Okay, I know that we're supposed to talk about the West knits. And I will. I'm going to do that. But I got to call my sister and find out why she was calling me. Because this West knits thing is going to take me a hot minute. So I'm going to call my sister real quick and then we will get started on the West knits. Oh gosh, you guys. I mean, it's so pretty, but it's pretty. You know, it is. It is pretty. I would say that had I intended for this to be kind of a more random thing, then I might be okay with it. No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't be okay with it. No, I don't think so. Because here's the thing. This right here, that's this. You see? And the way that it turned over the green, I'm lucky it didn't turn an ugly brown. It was just, you could tell, it was just shy of turning into a muddy, ugly brown. And there's none of that that's supposed to be in there, so. But this is beautiful. I love it. Anyway, I think going forward, when I want to do yarn like this, I am not going to do it in a pan. I think I'm just going to do it actually direct application, not in a pan. And then that way the likelihood of the yarn spreading the way that it did on me is very low. So that's it. Now I'm gonna call my sister and I'll be right back. Okay, I called my sister and she forced me to go over to her house. So here I am displaying one of her beautiful creations. And tomorrow, or in the next video, I will show you guys what she made for me. It's so cute! Random yarn dye encounter. Yes, small witch. So, we ended the month, last month, with the... Was I wearing my glasses? No. It would be nice because I really enjoyed the Vlogtober, the way we did the vlogs, and you know, Auntie the Nitrus, why did I call her Andi? Auntie the Nitrus, is it Andi? Oh my god, what? Annie, oh, is it Annie? Girl, the Nitrus, and then Rebecca the mean girl, and the Vegas, Susan, I think from the Vegas, Golden State or something. Oh fuck, I can't remember anything. Anyway, so all the people that I got to know, hello, that's eyeliner.